Yes, guys, and welcome back to the Irish Hotspur for yet another edition of the Keep, Loan or Sell. I hope everybody enjoyed yesterday's one on Davison Sanchez. And look, today we're going to start with Dane Mbappe, a player I really like the look of, a player that a lot of managers, Conte, Mourinho included, has said this guy has a massive, massive future. Jack, take it away, my man.
Dane Mbappe, or otherwise known as Dane SCARLETT, born, I think he was born in 2004, age 18. I mean, just ridiculous. 2004. Joined through the Youth Academy. I think his first actual kind of recorded games, even through the Youth Academy, though, were done in the 2019-2020 season. So far this season, though, Dave, he played 7 games. We counted. Some of them were, kind of some kind of brief sort of spells or brief kind of minutes, like 4 minutes in the Premier League. Another one was against Morecambe, but the majority of his minutes were against Europa Conference League sides. And before I give this to you, Dave, I think the thing that needs to be said is that with Dane SCARLETT, I feel like those Europa Conference League minutes were good minutes for him, but the tragic thing is that he just wasn't really surrounded by any good players alongside him. The only other player that really in any sort of way I remember even creating at any of those Europa Conference League games, Dave, was actually Brian Hill. And then it just felt like the rest of the team was just absolutely dead. I remember Gio put in some absolute stinkers. Harry Winks was a constant in the Conference League games. Ben Davies was playing left back, wasn't offering anything. Even Bergwijn at one stage wasn't giving us very much in those games. And you kind of just felt like a lot of those moments, Dave, wasn't really Dane SCARLETT's, fault for how, little he was able to do in the Conference League games. But he did show, though, at the end of the day that he is still quite raw. He does need experience maybe elsewhere. But maybe can't be too hard on him because he didn't need to play too many games. It's not like we really needed him to play that many. And the backup striker role was only going to get that many games at the end of the day because of Harry Kane and because of Sonny and, the other players that we had and Bergwijn that we had at our disposal. So the backup striker really wasn't going to get too many games, Dave. But yeah, showed he's still raw. But I would say for 18 years old, still looks very big, quite strong, quite fast. I think he still has a good future ahead of him, but maybe just too soon this season was.
Do you know what, Jack? I definitely echo everything you said. Look, at the end of the day, he's 18. I think them minutes in the Europa Conference League will be extremely valuable to him. But for me, Jack, I agree with you. When you look at the players he's been surrounded with, he hasn't really been given a chance to make an impact. You go back and look at a lot of them games, we didn't really create anything either. When your midfield is Harry Winks, Lo Celso, and Ndombele, and they can't even get a grip against Enes Mora, how do you expect them to get a grip against Pacos de Ferreira, Vitesse? Games that this guy has played in and hasn't really given a chance. The only one that was probably trying to create anything, like you said, I agree with you, was Gil Messi. But he wasn't given the best chance to make, to show what he can do in a Tottenham jersey, Jack, because the support cast was not good enough. We couldn't even get a foothold in the games, let alone get the ball up to Dane SCARLETT and try and create things. Look, when we did get the ball, at times he did show his rawness, but for me, look, I do ultimately think he needs to go out on a loan. That's why we do have him on a silver card, Jack. He does need to go on a loan. But look, just you look at the games he's played. I think it said 7. Two games he played in the FA Cup, Middlesbrough, Morecambe, 7 minutes combined in them games. 5 minutes in one, 2 minutes in the other. Premier League, he played 3 minutes against Leeds United off the bench when we were 4-0 up. So he hasn't had a chance to make an impact. Didn't play in the Carabao Cup at all. He hasn't had a chance to make an impact. And I really feel sorry for this guy, that he hasn't been playing with players, for instance, like in the Europa Conference League.
Didn't get to play alongside Harry Kane. Didn't get to play alongside of Lucas Moura. Didn't get to play alongside of Sonny, really, at any stage. Or even a Højbjerg, in his team or something like that. Yeah, you did feel bad for him because when he did get the opportunities in the preseason alongside some better players, he did actually look quite decent, especially Lucas Moura, Dave, was threading him through.
And he nicked a couple of goals. He nicked a couple of goals preseason as well, Jack, because he was playing. And that backs up your point. Exactly what you're saying there, Jack. You look at the games and the players he was playing with preseason compared to the players he was playing in the Europa Conference League. And we have to bear in mind, when the Europa Conference League came around, the squad was fractured. Too many players that he was playing with did not want to be here. And ultimately, likes of Ali, Ndombele, Lo Celso, all shipped on in the January transfer window. I just feel sorry for this guy. He hasn't really had it. He hasn't really been surrounded by the best people on the pitch to be able to make the impact I'm sure he would have liked. So, Jack, that's why we're looking at sending him on loan. But Where do you think we should send him on loan to, Jack?
Yeah, the silver card, everybody, means that we are going to be putting him on loan. And David and I kind of thought like League One is kind of the only option. And we were like, there can't just be one option for him. That seems like, a bit, sort of a bit crazy, despite it probably being the most likely option. We kind of maybe thought about the Bundesliga. And before we get into that, League One, Dave, I think we settled that the championship might just be too much pressure. Teams are either trying to survive or they're trying to promote themselves. It's just kind of too much of a dog eat dog kind of world up there, I think, in the championship. So maybe not the best sort of, environment for him. Whereas League One, maybe an MK Dons all of a sudden, maybe, who knows? Maybe he's like a Cambridge United, something like that. Could be, a good team for someone like a DANE SCARLETT. But any thoughts on League One before we just maybe quickly mention the Bundesliga?
The reason why I'd say League One, Jack, is because he's more likely to get a chance and get a game there week in, week out than what he probably would in the Championship, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's why I think League One would be invaluable to him.
I agree. And then in the Bundesliga, we've just seen a good track record of young English talent doing very well there. There's really good coaching over in the Bundesliga. They get to play a kind of football that probably younger players like to play, very fast, lots of space in behind, to work with, lots of one-on-one situations for young attacking kind of English players. It's a great league to develop and get some confidence. And like I said, still good competition while still having good coaching as well. I could see him, Dave, going to a Wolfsburg. He may be someone that is maybe a bit lower down. I don't know. Wolfsburg seems like actually quite nice. That'd be a good club for him, to be fair. But yeah, who knows? Who knows, Dave? Someone in the Bundesliga could take him in, and maybe he gets 15 games, in cup competitions on top of maybe Bundesliga, and he gets some good minutes there. I would take him over at my club, Hertha Berlin, Dave, but we're in the depths of survival next season, so I'm not sure if I can rely on DANE SCARLETT, but who knows? Maybe him and Jovetic could combine well, but I'm not sure, Dave. I think Bundesliga could also be an interesting shout.
Look, I must stress, I do think it will be to an English team lower down in the leagues if he does go on loan. But the reason why we have included the Bundesliga, Jude Bellingham, Jadon Sancho, you have that Reece Oxford guy that went over there from West Ham. You have Session, our own player, who went over there to develop his game. And maybe it wouldn't be a bad place for him to go if you're looking at the recent trend of young English players going abroad to make their name. Maybe wouldn't be a bad place at looking at getting them out on loan. Now, look, I do want to end this off by saying I did call for DANE SCARLETT to be kept around last season, purely because I think the minutes he was going to get would be more beneficial to him than what they would have been to someone like Vinicius. I think in the long run, you look at it, I'm glad we didn't pay someone like Vinicius wages and we just gave DANE SCARLETT 10 minutes, because you're paying the guy for absolutely nothing. You're paying the guy for absolutely nothing. But when it comes to DANE SCARLETT, you look at him and you look at where Conte wants to go. We've brought in Kulusevski. We're looking at Perisic can also play in the forward line. Lucas Moura looks like he'd be hanging around. You've got Son, Kane, and you might bring in one more. So when you look at it, it's like, where's he going to get his game time next season? I do not see it. And for me, I think rather than keep him around and keep him playing in the under-23s, which he's too good for, he's proven that. He's scoring goals for England underages as well. And for me, I think it'd just be best served to get him out on loan, get him into that men's league, physical battles, learn how to hold up the ball, learn the little tricks of the trade, and hopefully come back to Tottenham Hotspur a much better player. I think by holding him around at the club this season with some of the options we have, I think is actually holding him back, Jack.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. There you are, everybody. The verdict is loan on DANE SCARLETT. Do let us know in the comments down below where you think he should go. Maybe you want to keep him again. I really think nobody should ever say sell, but let us know, keep or loan, and where maybe the best club would be for him. Is it going to be League One? Maybe perhaps a Bundesliga club you have in mind for him? Let us know in the comments down below. Hit that like button on your way out. And as always, everybody, come on, you Spurs, and in Conte we trust.
Come on, you Spurs. In Conte, we trust. See?
Where do we go?